In Venezuela, it is out with the old and in with the new chief prosecutor. The new Constituent Assembly has named a new attorney general hours after Luisa Ortega was ousted. This decision came during the first official session of the Constituent Assembly. CGTN's Stephen Gibbs is in Caracas.
Once again, fast-moving events here in Caracas. The day started early when reports started coming in that the National Guard was surrounding the public prosecutor's headquarters here in Caracas. There was hundreds of them around the building. They weren't letting anyone in or out. Hearing that news, the Attorney General of Venezuela, who since March has been a rebel against the Maduro government, one of its sternest critics, right in the center of that government, she made her way to her own office, failed to get in, and said that she was sort of hustled by those National Guardsmen and made quite a quick exit on the back of a motorcycle. A few minutes later, in the Constituent Assembly, which is the new sort of alternative parliament that under some controversy the government has set up here, that parliament dismissed Luisa Ortega from her office. It also froze her assets and said she can't leave the country. This is that new Constituent Assembly flexing its muscles to some alarm amongst the opposition. This is a power, a body that can do almost anything. It has promised one of the first things it would do would be to remove the public prosecutor, and away it went. That's what it did. It appointed also a new temporary public prosecutor, Mr. Tarek Saab. He's also a somewhat controversial figure. He's currently sanctioned by the United States, which means, in fact, that the president, the vice president, the Attorney General and the Interior Minister of Venezuela are currently subject to United States sanctions. Now, the US is keen to stress it's not going alone on this, and in a way there was a bit of a sign of this from Sao Paulo in Brazil. Mercosur, one of the regional groupings here, met. It decided to suspend indefinitely Venezuela from that grouping, saying it was behaving in an undemocratic way. Now, the Venezuelan government has responded to that Mercosur ruling, saying it's based on false assumptions. It's classic sort of attempting to interfere in another country's affairs. That is Venezuela, the Venezuelan government's approach at the moment. It says it should be free to do what it wants, and it says the rest of the world is trying to interfere with a sovereign nation. Stephen Gibbs, CGTN, Caracas.